The difference between power and force, then, is that power accomplishes by virtue of the quality of that which it is. It doesn't have to do anything. What does the spiritual aspirant do for the world? What they do for the world is a consequence of that which they become. It requires no effort whatsoever. Doesn't have to do anything except to be your own potential. So, as spirituality evolves, then, what happens is the power of the context, the field begins to shift. We see whole continents, whole neighborhoods, whole countries, counties, towns, neighborhoods within the town, dominated by certain energy fields. That energy field now becomes more important than the content. You know it the minute you walk into it. The hair goes up on the back of your head. You know you're in trouble, even though there's nobody threatening you on the street. This is not a safe space. You get that. There's certain neighborhoods that the minute you're in them, you get that. There are other places on the planet where nobody would even think of graffiti. I've been in great and beautiful places, had they been located elsewhere, in which there is no graffiti. Unlike the subway in New York. Anybody ever ride the subway system in New York? Covered with graffiti, vulgarity. Yeah. All right. What I really wanted to emphasize today was the value that each of these things serves its own purpose, you see? Each of these things serves its own purpose. Each one of these things has a concomitant emotion. We disparage that which is below the level, below these levels. In more advanced spiritual work, of course, the greatest significance is not over on the right-hand side. The greatest significance is over on the left-hand side, because we begin to experience how this evolves through spiritual understanding. And so the real focus of the spiritual aspirant is how to overcome the residuals of the old animal within your brain, how to stop identifying with that, how to stop condemning yourself, feeling guilty about it, how to accept and love the little animal. If you're spiritually oriented, everything in the world serves you. Everything in the world serves you. The other night we were watching a video of the greatest tiger trainer in the world. I think he's Russian or Slavic, I think. Anyway, he handles 10 or 11 wild Bengal tigers all at once. He adores them. You feel the profound, intense love that he has for them. So his power, I told you I'd put this where you can't see it. His power over the animals is his intense love. He's aware of who he is, he's aware of who they are, and they know it. So when you watch him work 10 or 12 tigers at once, they all move in unison. He has them almost spellbound by the power of his love for them. However, at no time does he forget that they are basically a wild animal, and if you push him, he'll kill you. A very interesting lesson. At no time does he turn his back, or is he neglectful, or does he go into denial that they will kill you. That's true. The most domesticated, tamed wild animal, if provoked at the right moment, will eat you up. We mentioned that case history in one of the earlier lectures. In that case, the lion ate her out of love. But his concern was not the tigers would eat him out of love, but that he would provoke them. So you see, you can love everything and yet not be naive. That's the downside of the 500s. The downside of the 500s is you walk in a world of love, only love is real, only lovingness is what you see, lovingness is what you experience. In the beginning, there's a great naivete to it. Spiritual awareness, like other things, goes through various degrees of maturity. And the early adolescent is enthused about spirituality and goes around, ooh, Allah, and praying for peace, and sort of fairyland of happiness. The downside of that is an extreme vulnerability, the naivete. You see, the tiger trainer is not naive, and yet his love is intense. His love is so intense, these tigers all behave out of respect for him. Therefore, as a teacher, the purpose of today's lecture is to prepare you for the downside of what will come up if you're spiritually, seriously committed. If you run around to lectures, read books here and there, and play around with the astral realm, get channelings and all that, you won't have to deal with this. But if you're serious, the downside will come up. All right, there is that which is opposed to spiritual truth, and it has dominated mankind until the late 1980s. Do you remember the level of consciousness of mankind until the late 1980s was 190? That means those energies which oppose God, deny God, and would rather have control of you and your beloveds did dominate this planet until the late 1980s. Then, for reasons not completely or totally known, the consciousness level jumped to 207. As you evolve spiritually, you see your power, not your power, but the power of your energy field, your aura, whatever you call it, becomes more and more powerful, begins to dominate, and that which was used to dominating and controlling until very recent times is therefore threatened by every spiritual aspirant. Everyone who reaches unconditional love then diminishes the domain of that which is non-integrous, diminishes its control. Consequently, one becomes the target for that which is non-integrous and would like to entrap you in its control. So the downside of the 500s is that naivete in which you love everything and see everybody as lovable, and as a consequence become blind. Many are the gurus of great renown, both dead and alive today, who reached the high of the usually the mid 500s, and were taken down one after another. Their numbers are rather shocking. At one time, calibrate 520, 540. Now 180. What happens? You see, the tiger trainer does not pretend that the tiger won't kill you if you ignore his inner nature. He demonstrates to me that you can love and still be aware of the downside of what you're dealing with. If you think you can turn over your trust fund to anybody who wanders down the street and says that he'd like to do it for you, you'll soon be a poor person. Well, I trust everybody. I only believe in holiness and love.